reading is at an all-time low. And as a writer, that is such a punch in the face of like, it might not even be you. Like, people just don't be reading anymore. But I'm going to tell you why you should be reading, why you should pick up a book. Yes, laugh. This isn't my dog. Not ate, but like bit off this part of the book. We're specifically going to talk about Anna Karenina and why fiction is important. Because nonfiction, you get it. You're like, facts, information, have it in my brain. But why read fiction? What is the importance of fiction? Fiction, as you saw with the title, is better than psychology. Not in the sense of like it is actually better than psychology, but it will bring you more to life than psychology. Of course, ideally you pair these two things together. But if you were like, I want to know more about psychology, should I read psychology or should I read fiction? I'd say read a good classic. Why? Because it's more useful. It's not that psychology is most straightforward and it's a lot of information, it's a lot of facts, there's nothing against it. I plan on maybe studying it one day. I'm not against it at all in any sense. But what psychology doesn't have is the internal dialogue. This is why we get into Anna Karenina. This is so ruggedy. So, Anna Karenina, skip the next couple minutes if you don't want spoilers. It's about the most selfish woman known to mankind, and I hate that I share a first name with her. But what this book taught me so well is the internal dialogue and the self-reporting of someone who is selfish is completely different to what is actually happening. That's why I think it's quite easy and interesting when people are like, oh, how did they not know this or this about someone? And it's not something straightforward. It is like selfishness. It is like that. And it's like, you don't know because they don't tell you the story. They tell you a story. They tell you, oh, my friend did this, my friend did that, my friend did this, my friend did that, my this did that. And so you have this image of these people around the person that are treating them horribly. And so you have empathy, which you should have. You should. But they're not painting the picture of, hey, the same way Anna Karenina never paints the picture of, hey, I'm selfish and I'm self-obsessed. And she had a moment in the book, Anna Karenina, where she flirted with someone else's husband. And then she had the audacity to be like, I don't know why his wife doesn't like me. She's so mean to me. You don't know? And the interesting thing with Anna Karenina is you understand that it's difficult to decipher between an Anna Karenina and a different character without the internal dialogue, which you don't have in real life. You don't have people's internal dialogue in real life. You don't have people's, here's the screen footage of what they did. You don't have that for the most part. But Anna Karenina and Liars look exactly the same as people who are honest, which is the idea of like, a liar and someone who's not lying say the same thing. It's just that one is not lying. Like I've said that before, but I saw it also on TikTok. There was this back and forth between a girl and a guy, and they were singing. And they were like, oh, I'm not cheating. And then the girl says, that's what a cheater would say. And he's like, but it's also what someone who is not cheating would say. And that is the thing of the book that I took away from it, is people look similar and they're very different inside. Like, there is kind of a status quo, there's kind of a way of being, there's a way of saying things, especially if someone's intelligent. They've definitely hacked this. But that does not mean that is who they are. Don't ask someone who they are, look at who they are. Anyways, that's my Anna Karenina copy, and it's completely, the pages almost look old already. But that was the gist of what I got out of it. And reading is important because that lesson you don't get from psychology. not at all, but you don't get, if someone says, well, people can lie, you're like, no, like, okay, good job, wow, breaking my mind here. But if you read the whole book of someone lying and saying things, and maybe even saying things that you would say, but you would say it and you would mean it, and someone else would say it and they would not mean it. And I think that's the interesting thing with Anna Karenina is she believes her own lies. That's why people like Anna Karenina are so dangerous, because they believe it. It's not. I have no doubts that this character that I've never met has that belief. The archetype of Anna Karenina, someone like that, has the belief of like this person wronged me and that person wronged me, and they feel like the whole world rotates around them, and so every interaction they have, they can't see the other person's point of view. And so I do believe that the archetype of Anna Karenina believes what she's saying. But that's kind of worse. A liar who believes his own lie is a dangerous liar, because they are not even lying. Like, if they would be put on a lie detector test, you wouldn't catch it, because it wouldn't. I think how lie detector tests work, as far as how I conceptualize it, is if your heart rate goes up or if you seem agitated, then you're lying. But if they're not lying in their own head, I even have a poem about that, which is the concept of, if you're lying and you don't know you're lying, is that lying? And if you're telling the truth but you don't know you're telling the truth, are you telling the truth? Because isn't it dependent on how you feel about it, or is it just, even if it's an accident? And I think you can lie. You can be lying, or you can tell a lie. And the difference is, you're lying if you know it. You're telling a lie if the thing you're saying is not true. And the same in reverse. But yeah, all of these like nuance that we all want back is found in fiction, and in seeing a character and really getting to know the character. And yeah, so go buy my books. No, I'm joking. But if you do want to check them out, go ahead.